Hey everyone, today I've got another Digimon video. This one is kind of a bit late. I was going to do this one with some of the other Digimon decks that I had, but then Survive came out and I did a video on that, and then the Yu-Gi-Oh! Pre-release happened and I did a video on that, so this one's finally here. This is for Digimon, and it is on Sakuyamon. So Sakuyamon is a yellow deck. So let's start. Okay, for the eggs, we've got 4 Viximon. Now the format kind of changed where to having 4 of the same egg is the best. You don't want a 5th one anymore. So all the other videos that I had on this, you'd probably drop it down to the 4 eggs. However, a lot of the decks that I've done in the past couple weeks did get a little bit of other stuff in this new set, so I will do newer videos on them later. Anyway, this is a Viximon. Once per turn, on your turn, when you use an option card with a cost of 2 or more, you draw 1 card. So that kind of gives you an idea of what the strategy for this deck is. We'll save Sakuyamon for the level 6s. For the level 3s, we've got Renamon. This one has an on-play effect and an inheritable effect, which is pretty nice. On play, reveal the top 4 cards of the deck, add 1 card with Cubimon, Taomon, or Sakuyamon in its name, and 1 Rika no Naka from among them to your hand, so that's pretty good. The Tamer in this deck especially is super important. You want to get it. And then its inheritable is when you use an option card with a cost of 2 or more, you gain 1 memory. So there's that. We've got this Solomon here. It only has the inheritable ability of when attacking one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 1,000 for the turn. It's not the best, but I saw people recommending it as that 1,000 does build up eventually. So we've got that Solomon. The other level 3 rookie we've got is Patamon. Patamon's pretty good. Your turn, once per turn, when an opponent's Digimon is deleted by dropping its Digimon points to 0, you gain 1 memory. Pretty good. It's a starter deck 3 card, and it's still used in a lot of yellow decks to this day. Okay, we've got the level 4s now. We've got Cubimon, this one from EX2. Cubimon, when digivolving, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 option card with plug-in in its name from among them to your hand and place the remaining on the bottom. And then your turn, when you use an option card with the cost of 2 or more, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2k DP for the turn. That's pretty good. So it adds upon what the Solomon can do. These next 2 cards really could be anything. I just added another version of Cubimon from BT5 to fill in the space. I honestly couldn't think of anything else to put here. You could put vanillas here. Really put any yellow card. So those 2 aren't really important. They were just spaces I had to fill. The next 4 are the blockers. The cost 1 to evolve blockers for yellow. This is Pydomon? Or Fidomon? Yeah, it looks like Fidomon. Okay, it's like some kind of angel character. Kind of looks like Angemon, but it's named differently. But whatever. So that's the cost 1 to evolve yellow blocker. We've got Taomon from EX2. This one has the ability, when digivolving, you may play a Eureka no Naka from your hand without paying its memory cost. That's very good. And then its unheritable effect is your turn once per turn. When you use an option card with a cost of 2 or more, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2k DP for the turn. So the same as the Cubimon from EX2. So that's pretty good. The last level 5 we got is Ryze Greymon. This almost has the same effect as Taomon when digivolving. However, it is, you may play one yellow tamer from your hand without paying its memory cost. Any on-play effects on the tamer played with this effect do not activate, so you can use this to play any of your yellow tamers. Again, you'll most likely want to use this to play Rika for free. Since she doesn't have any on-play effects, it won't suffer from the negative effects of not being able to use the on-play effects. Of course, we've got the main card of the deck, Sakuyamon. This is when digivolving, unsuspend one of your Digimon, and for each tamer you have in play, return one option card with plug-in in its name from your trash to your hand. That's pretty good. And then your turn, when you use an option card with a cost of 2 or more, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3k DP for the turn. So once again, even though the effect of Solomon doesn't look too good, like right away, that does add up. And you can always use multiple plug-in option cards. So yeah, that does add up. So that is the main star of this deck. It is going to get another card in BT10, which is very good. The last 2 level 6s are 2 copies of this Sakuyamon. This is an opponent's turn effect. When your opponent's Digimon moves from their breeding area to the battle area, it gains security attack minus 3 for the turn. Wow, that's good. Your turn, all of your opponent's security Digimon gets minus 3k DP. So this is kind of more of a defensive option, and it's a Sakuyamon name. So that really helps when you use your search effects. That's that for this one. Of course, we've got the 4 copies of Rika. She is the memory resetter, which is pretty good. So if you have 2 or less memory at the start of your turn, she can set it to 3, and then her main effect, when you attack with a Digimon with Renamon, Cubimon, Taomon, or Sakuyamon in its name, you may suspend this tamer to use one of your option cards with plug-in in its name from your hand without paying its memory cost. That's pretty good. So it allows you to use a few more of your option cards for free, which is very nice. And if you have multiple out on the field, you can use that multiple times. So you want to have as many as her out as possible. The other tamer we have is TK Takashi and Kari Kamiya. There's 2 of this one. Start of your turn, if you have fewer security cards than your opponent, you gain 2 memory. And then your turn, when one of your yellow Digimon attacks, you may suspend this tamer to have one of your opponent's Digimon get minus 1k DP for the turn. Again, that all adds up. Now we're into the option cards. These cards essentially allow, these plug-in option cards essentially allow Renamon to use abilities from other colors in the game, which is pretty cool. Such as for this one, Digivolution plug-in S. If you have a tamer in play, you may use this card without meeting its color requirement. You draw 1 card, then you may digivolve one of your Digimon into a Digimon card from your hand that can evolve for a cost of 3 or less without paying its cost. That's pretty good. And its security effect, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 Digimon card among them to your hand and place the remaining on the bottom of the deck in any order. So that gives you more searchability in this deck, which is pretty nice. Next up, we've got Offensive Plugin A. So what Offensive Plugin A does is, while you have your tamer in play, you may use this without meeting its color requirement. One of your Digimon gains security attack +1 for the turn, and then its security effect is reveal the top 3 of your deck. Add 1 Tamer card from among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards on the bottom of your deck in any order. That's pretty good. Oh. And then the final card is High Speed Plug-in D. Again, you can use this if you have a Tamer without meeting the color requirements. For the turn, one of your Digimon gains jamming and can't be blocked by your opponent's Digimon, and then its security effect is draw 1 card, which is pretty nice. And that is it for Sakuyamon. It's a fairly fun deck. It's probably one of the better ones out of EX2, I think, besides Gallantmon and Beelzemon. Probably the third best. And it's getting even more cards, as I said, in BT10, which is going to make it very good. So if you could, I'd recommend getting its cards now before it spikes in price. And that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this one.